Hi everyone, I'm Mahin Adamji and I'm excited to be here today and be your moderator for this fantastic panel. I want to introduce the panel by speaking about it a little bit. So today we're going to take a little bit of a Y Combinator lens, which is a brutal lens. Are you a default alive or are you default dead? And based on that, I wanted to speak about a lot of our founders here. It's about reaching profitability before you run out of cash. Before I say more, I wanted to take an opportunity for each of the founders here of these incredible companies to give a brief introduction about themselves, and then we'll dive into some fun questions.
Okay. Hi, my name is Omar Kamar, and I'm the founder of ELO, formerly known as Export Leftovers. We started the company in 2013, and so basically we took the leftover concept online. आप लोगों को Kareem Block और Zena Market का तो पता ही है, and nobody was doing that before we. So we took this leftover concept and brought it online, and now we have 2 physical outlets, and we are, aggressively getting into the retail space as well. So yeah, that's ELO.
Hello, Assalamu alaikum. मेरा नाम मारूफ मिर्ज़ा है. We run a women's first wellness platform. We have a digital platform, which is an app where women can come and actually work out, get nutrition guidance, get coaching. And then we also have 5 physical studios in Lahore, and we have been doing this for almost 11 years now.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Sudhir Shakil, and I'm the co-founder of Fortify. किसी ने अगर रियल इस्टेट में कभी इन्वेस्ट किया है या कभी गए हों किसी डेवलपर के पास, बिल्डर के पास इन्वेस्ट करने के लिए, तो उनको टाइम लगा होगा बहुत, एंड फ़ाइल बनने में, पेमेंट को जो है प्रोसेस करने में. तो हम जो उनका इंटरनल ऑपरेशंस हैं रियल इस्टेट बिल्डर्स के, डेवलपर्स के, एजेंट्स के, प्रॉपर्टी मैनेजर्स के, उसको हम स्ट्रीमलाइन करने के लिए हमने Fortify बनाया है. सो या.
Assalamu alaikum everyone. I am Asma Salman Umar. I am the co-founder of Marham. Marham is a leading healthcare platform which connects patients with doctors and healthcare services. And we have been in this space for last 9 years and building, a business and a healthcare platform which can be widely used by masses in Pakistan.
Hello everyone, my name is Ibrahim Shaukat. I'm the founder of Dari Mooch. It's a men's grooming brand. We're trying to get into salons as well. So yeah, that's pretty much me.
Fantastic. We were hanging out for a little bit behind the scenes, and we had this interesting conversation on companies that were built in Karachi versus companies that were built Punjab side and Lahore. So we're going to launch this quick rapid fire first question where I want our Lahore companies to go first and tell me which is the one metric that decides survival for you. So what is that one metric? Is it retention? Is it churn? Is it customer acquisition cost? What's that one metric that you look at every day that tells you that your company is in a good health state? And maybe Umar, you go first.
First of all, I'm from Faisalabad, so I take offense in that. मैं समझता हूँ कि ये जो metrics हैं, they keep on changing. First of all, so सबसे पहले जब काम शुरू किया था तब तो number of orders, revenue, those numbers are very important. But right now, for me, at this scale, having huge inventory levels, for me, the most important thing is the sell-through rate. कि आपके पास कितना inventory पड़ी हुई और कितनी बिक रही है. So for me, like a good inventory percentage is about 30% in a month. आप इससे ज़्यादा जाओगे तो you are just losing money. You have to keep yourself lean, and having a good sell-through rate for a company like ours is very important. वरना तो आप inventory बढ़ाते जाओगे, sale भी बढ़ जाएगी, सारा कुछ बढ़ जाएगा, लेकिन अगर आपके पास stock पड़ा रहेगा so you're going to kill your company eventually. So for me, the most important thing is having a lean sell-through rate.
And a good kind of focus on your inventory.
Yes, 100%.
Yes, we understand that from the textile capital, Faisalabad. Let's go over right at the end to Ibrahim. Ibrahim, what's your take on metrics?
So I think as a new business, it's very important to look at what your costs are. So if you're an e-commerce business, I think CAC is one of the most important things. So we sort of do an ad spend ratio where we figure out how much money are we actually spending and how much money are we actually getting in return. So that helps us sort of scale sustainably. So I think that's a very good metric to have. At the same time, revenue and return on investment. So we've been tracking these numbers on a daily basis the day we started business, and we still track them on a daily within each sort of department. So हम e-commerce के लिए भी ये सारी चीज़ें track करेंगे. हम अगर retail कर रहे हैं वहाँ पे भी हम यही track कर रहे हैं, trade पे भी यही कर रहे हैं. Not to say कि other metrics की priority नहीं है, ठीक है. I do agree with what Umar has said कि cash return on working capital is very important. But मुझे लगता है ये main चीज़ें if you get these right, बाकी सारी problems आप solve कर सकते हो over time.
And Sidra, what does this look like for a SaaS B2B platform?
So we are a relatively new company. Like we started back 3 years ago only. So हमारे लिए कोई definitive metric अभी भी हम जो है ना सोच रहे हैं कि क्या होना चाहिए क्या नहीं होना चाहिए. So अभी हम we have drilled it down to maybe CLTV. But जब हमने start किया था, so our product has been completely built on customer feedback. So customer हमसे बोलता है कि हमें ये चाहिए आपके पास ये नहीं है, ठीक है हम बना देंगे. And हमने customizations free रखी, so it was completely open. तो जो वो बोलते थे हम बनाते जाते थे. So our if I could come down to some very vague a term or something, so वो ये होगा कि customers का onboard होना and customers का retain होना along with their positive feedback. So क्योंकि हमारा
good
product ही
onboarding.
इसी base पे develop हुआ है. Yeah.
That's really interesting. I want to ask more on जो वो बोलते थे वो हम बनाते जाते थे. I have a question for you on that a little bit later. But over to you, Marukh. What's the one thing at AimFit that you're looking at on a daily basis that tells you the company is healthy?
So I think I'll take a little bit longer to answer this because for us the answer was not that much clear. Initially, we raised actually funds somewhere in the middle of our journey when we started AimFit around 11 years ago, and we raised fund around 5 years ago. And we raised funds to actually build a digital platform for women where they can actually work out from their homes. And this hadn't been done in the market before, and I think for the longest we really debated endlessly about what our metrics should be, what our North Star should be. We thought of CAC, we thought of CLTV, we thought of cohort retention. And then I think we weren't really looking at our burn either, and we were just really building this hyper growth model for a mass market, women fitness field basically. And suddenly in 2022, the capital dried up, and it was really just about survival then, whether you are going to make it or break it. So actually, when we really sat down back in 2022, so almost around 3 years ago, and we looked at the business fundamentals, there were two things that stood really out for us, and that was the top line and the bottom line. And what people were bringing to bring that top line in, and what growth was possible in that top line, and how you were translating and who was translating that top line into bottom line for you. And I think that just really changed the dynamics for us. That's how we became self-funded as well. That's how we started funding our next retail locations, our digital growth as well. And we started hiring the right people. We actually really increased the prices of our products, which were really undervalued. In some cases, we increased our prices by 10 times. And we did not lose out on our clients either. We launched some premium category products as well. We phased out products that were not really working as well. So I think at the end of the day, it really just comes down to what you are making from your clients and from everyone else, and then how you're spending it and what you're saving for your next stage of growth.
Very interesting. And Asma, I wanted to ask you with Marham, it's the first B2C platform that I've heard about that doesn't spend anything on marketing. So what's that one metric that you look at that tells you that the company is surviving?
So I think the core discipline that has really helped us in building and scaling has been setting up a central framework of team goals. So we effectively for every team they have mentioned here, there are different metrics that contribute to the end win, and which is this that how many people are being served every month. And in order to drive that metric and that leading indicator, every team and every department of the org, are they on track for their goals or not? Because one team impact the work of the other team as well, and it is always a group effort and a team effort. So these two main metrics, as a North Star, that, okay, how many people are we serving today and serving every month? But then are we on track for all the metrics in terms of quality, in terms of conversion, traffic, retention, and all of those things?
So
yeah.
KPIs, Asma,
Yes.
that's it for you. Okay, so I want to move back to Ibrahim. Ibrahim, with Dari Mooch, as you were breaking into the market initially, do you remember doing anything unscalable to win over who eventually became your early adopters? And I wanted to really ask this question because we need to understand how to begin in a market. And we're told that initially, not everything needs to be a system or digitized through tech. How did you make that first connection with your customers and
So-
introduce your product?
Yep. So I think we did everything from a scalability standpoint. So every decision we sort of made, वो हमने ये देखते हुए किया कि अच्छा इससे हम कितना एक scale कर सकते हैं. Let's say launching a new product, it adds to the top line, helps us scale. Opening a new retail shop, अब हम services में आ गए हैं. So I think every decision that we've made has been done from the point of view of scalability. So I don't think we've done things जिन्होंने हमें scale करने में help नहीं किया. कुछ ना कुछ impact उसका scalability पे ही है. First जो कह लें कि हमने कैसे consumer के साथ interact किया, I think it was very simple. We started doing Facebook ads and just got better at it. I think it's as simple as this. One needs to figure out a niche, और उसके बाद if you just communicate with the customer, I think it's fairly easy to do that.
Interesting. And Marukh, I know that you have in-person classes that have really built your brand and driven an audience towards the app. So have you done anything that's been unscalable that you don't do anymore because you have a large presence now?
I think we still do it. So there's one thing that we have been doing since our inception, and I think it's one thing that we ended up doing without any regard for, how much money are we making for it, how do we monetize it, how do we get a payback or return from it. And that has been building this, community of women around wellness. Even when we were really small, even when we were not making any money, we have always had these, community spaces dedicated for women. We have had these in our physical studios as well. You will find this really massive community area where women get together pre and post their classes. And at times, they end up sitting over there for like 2-3 hours also. We do free food and beverages at all of our locations, basically.
Oh,
and
fantastic.
even for app also, we started with like a Facebook group, WhatsApp group. Now the community is online on our app. And I think that's still something that we have been consistently doing till day also. And when we were doing this, we were not thinking about scale or monetization. But it is something that has over time given us both, because now when we are opening our new locations, like, when we are opening our new retail locations, we already have a wait list of clients for those locations, because the community experiment, the social experiment that started with building this community has now translated into this social proof, where there's already a wait list, there's a very strong word of mouth, and the products are like, there's already a wait list and products are sold automatically, and, we also have zero marketing spend. So we don't spend anything on marketing, we don't really pay anything or any discounts to any of the people coming into our facilities, whether online or in studios. And I think that's a return on the community that we have built over the years that we're getting now.
Wow, that's incredible. Asma, I wanted to ask you a question around, I know that you, along with Marukh, raised initial capital, and there was some fun debate happening at the back whether you guys should be counted as bootstrap, but I think you should be. And the question there is that there was that initial dose of investment, and then you became unit economic positive, and you did have to flex that bootstrap muscle to be able to stay alive and then gain profitability as funding dried up. I wanted to take you back to when you secured funding right in the beginning. Did it weaken any bootstrap muscle? You know, did that sudden influx of capital actually prove to be disadvantageous in any form?
So I think one key learning that has been from that time was this, that Marham has always focused a lot on, you know, building talent and, you know, learning and development inside the organization. But when you raise capital, you are in, you know, rush to scale fast, and you try to, you know, hire a lot of people at a very fast pace to, you know, drive the growth that you are trying to aim. So I think at that time, the rigor that needs to be there in terms of upskilling the current talent and the existing team, I think that was something that, you know, we lost some focus on that part, and we tried to bring in more new people. So in hindsight, I think we should have invested more on the current talent as well in their development and their learning, because they even, you know, building them, developing them can, you know, generate way better results in terms of long term, because they have helped you raise that fund.
Absolutely. And Umar, I wanted to take it back to you and ask you, e-commerce is a notoriously difficult nut to crack. And I think the biggest roadblock there is trust and building that initial trust. How were you able to do that with a bootstrapped company? Were there any special bits that you did in terms of your strategy that built that initial trust for you?
So yeah, like when we started off in 2013, there were not that many e-commerce players. Pakistan में तो बिल्कुल भी नहीं था. And you know, there is a big, मतलब मेरी तो पूरी एक story भी है. You can find it online on why we started the 30-day money back guarantee. Like if you don't like the product, you can send it back and we'll refund or exchange the item for you. Because we believed कि मेरे पास तो यार leftover पड़ा हुआ ही था. अगर कस्टमर ने ले लिया है and he doesn't like the product, तो you know, for us the fundamental thing was कि we already have the stock. तो मेरा तो वो पड़ा हुआ है क्योंकि हम लोग पहले किसी और से लेते नहीं थे चीज़ें. तो I was like, I believe in my product. I have 100% faith in my product. There is absolutely nothing wrong with it. तो we'll offer them 30-day money back guarantee कि नहीं पसंद है आप पैसे वापस ले लो.
तो उमर कितने रिटर्न्स आए?
बहुत ज़्यादा, मतलब आते हैं यार कस्टमर को. एंड आई फील कि हम लोगों को ये सोचना भी नहीं चाहिए. इफ़ यू डोंट लाइक द फिटिंग, यू डोंट लाइक द साइज, यू डोंट लाइक द कलर, वाई शुड आई, यू नो, कस्टमर को ज़बरदस्ती क्यों चीज़ देनी है? जो कि पाकिस्तान के अंदर अगर आप रिटेल में भी कोई चीज़ लेने जाते हो, as soon as you take off the tag, they're not going to take it back.
Yeah.
अगर आपने पहन लिया, मैंने एक दफ़ा तो स्टोर में ही गया, मैंने पहन के कहीं जा रहा था, तो उसने कहा ये आपने पहन लिया, अभी मैंने वापस ही नहीं लेनी. एंड आई वाज लाइक शॉक. तो पाकिस्तान में अभी भी एक्सचेंज पॉलिसीज़, रिटर्न पॉलिसीज़ बहुत बुरी हैं. तो कंपटीशन ही कोई नहीं था. तो once I started it, people were like कि यार वैसे ही 500-600 रुपए की टी शर्ट बेच रहा है, why not try it? So buy-in was so easy for us कि इतनी सस्ती चीज़ के बाद ये इतनी genuine और lenient policies भी दे रहा है. तो you know,
तो इन lenient policies का growth पे क्या impact हुआ?
देखिए पूरी दुनिया में व्यूज़ तो होती हैं ये पॉलिसीज़, बट आई फील कि अगर आपका 100 कस्टमर उसमें से 5-10 ने कर लिया होएगा, 10% होएगा, उससे ज़्यादा नहीं होता. Because nobody has time to go through the hassle of going back to the courier. मतलब एक hassle तो फिर भी है ना.
Yeah.
But for us, what we have seen is कि you know, like with our brand positioning, sizes are never going to be the same. Like एक American brand का medium और एक Japanese brand का medium कभी भी पूरा नहीं आएगा. तो we have this difficulty कि customer doesn't understand in Pakistan कि यार हर brand का size फ़र्क है और उसने size chart देखना है. तो पाकिस्तान में एजुकेशन और लोगों को ये समझाना बड़ा मुश्किल है कि यार अगर मीडियम लोगे तो मीडियम हर प्रोडक्ट की सेम नहीं होएगी. यू हैव टू गो टू द साइज चार्ट एंड लुक इनटू इट. और हमने उसका एक झटका हल तो यही निकाला कि रिटेल में चले जाओ. You don't like the sizes, go to the retail space, buy it from there.
So we're going to see a lot of ELO stores, yes?
Because I feel कि पाकिस्तान में कस्टमर एक्सपीरियंस है ही है कि ऑफलाइन के साथ जब आप ऑनलाइन कोई भी दुकान बनाते हो ट्रस्ट ज़्यादा बनता है. एंड आई हैव बीन टॉकिंग टू ऑल दीज e-commerce players who have started opening retail spaces. Like Bandana has been in this space for since 2016, but they are now rapidly opening stores.
Yeah.
उन्होंने भी यही फील किया कि यार जब हम लोगों ने दुकानें बनाई हैं ऑटोमेटिकली एक जो क्रेडिबिलिटी वो बढ़ जाती है. एंड आई फील दाढ़ी मूछ इज डूइंग द सेम. उनकी भी फिजिकल जब आप देखते हो ना तो आप कहते हो यार ये ब्रांड है, ये भाग के कहीं नहीं जाएंगे, हमारे पैसे मरेंगे नहीं. तो I feel
So the touch and feel
Yes.
is important. Sidra, going back to you, you said any feature that a customer would want, we would want to build. How does that work in a bootstrap? Because everything has an opportunity cost. And you need a lot of clarity as a founder to decide, this is what we're going to build, this is what we're not going to build. So what did your customers ask? Which specific feature was the most asked for? And that early decision, and you're still bootstrapped, that early decision, how did that shape your product now, your SaaS product as a whole?
सो यस हमने ऐसे ही लेके चले हम लोग कि कस्टमर ने हमसे बोला कि आप ये फीचर बना दें, आपके पास ये नहीं है, फलां
थोड़ा
के
सा
पास
माइक
है.
अपने आगे कर लें.
सो यस हम ऐसे ही लेके चले हैं कि फीडबैक के बेस पे हमने प्रोडक्ट को डेवलप किया है. व्हेन वी स्टार्टेड बैक इन 2022 वी हैड ओनली वन मॉड्यूल विच वाज रिलेटेड टू बुकिंग मैनेजमेंट कि कोई भी जाके जब डेवलपर के पास जाए तो बुकिंग उनकी जो है ना ऑटोमेट होके खुद ही फॉर्म जनरेट हो जाए. तो इस एक मॉड्यूल पे हमने 2 साल मज़ीद इस पर डेवलपमेंट्स की. MVP था हमारा ये, तो उसको हमने मैच्योर किया. फिर हम बहुत से ऐसे ट्रेड शोज़ में गए, वहाँ पे हमें पता चला कि नहीं और भी चीज़ें चाहिए होती हैं डेवलपर्स को. क्या चाहिए वो हमने लिस्ट डाउन कर लिया. सो उनको फिर हमने बिल्ड करना शुरू किया.
तो अभी वो क्या फीचर है जो सबसे ज़्यादा यूज़ होता है?
हमारा CRM है बेसिकली जो कि सेल्स मैनेजमेंट के उसमें है. सो काफ़ी टाइम से हमने प्लान किया हुआ था ये हम बनाएंगे, बट डिमांड हम पहले गेज करते कि कितने एग्जैक्टली लोगों को चाहिए, बट पता चला काफ़ी ज़्यादा डिमांड है इसकी. सो वी स्टार्टेड डेवलपिंग इट बैक लास्ट ईयर एंड फिर वो अब ऐसा हो गया है दैट इट्स आवर कैश काउ. इट्स आवर एंट्री पॉइंट इनटू एनी डेवलपर. जिसको कुछ नहीं चाहिए होता उसको ये तो लाजमी चाहिए होता है. फिर एक दफ़ा वो ऑन बोर्ड हो जाते हैं, वहाँ से अपसेलिंग शुरू होती है कि आप ये जो है फ्री में आप यूज़ करके देखें या फीडबैक दें कैसा लग रहा है. फिर उस पर अपसेलिंग शुरू होती है. सो अब we are now at 13 plus modules. When we started back, we had only one module. 3 साल में हमने 13 modules बना दिए. And I think one of the main reason behind कि हम इतना जल्दी कैसे बना सके वो ये था कि we have a very strong team of engineers. वो engineers ही जो हमारे co-founders हैं and equity भी हमने दी हुई है उनको. So दैट टर्नड आउट टू बी आवर USP कि हमारी टीम ही इतनी स्ट्रॉन्ग है जिन चीज़ों को बना लेती है. सो कमिंग बैक टू 2025 दिसंबर 25 13 प्लस मॉड्यूल्स हैं, प्रोडक्ट फुल्ली मैच्योर्ड है. तो अब हम अपनी GTM स्ट्रैटेजी थोड़ी चेंज करेंगे कि कस्टमाइजेशन पे अब हम कैप लगा रहे हैं. अब किसी को चाहिए तो पैसे देने पड़ेंगे थोड़ा बहुत. अब हम प्रोडक्ट लेड ग्रोथ की तरफ भी जा रहे हैं कि कस्टमर्स खुद आके साइन अप करें, यूज़ करें. कुछ फ्री फीचर्स हैं वो यूज़ करें. पेड चाहिए लाइक कैनवा में होता है कि आप फ्री यूज़ करते हैं, आपको प्रीमियम चाहिए तो फिर आप ख़रीदते हो. तो अब हम उस तरफ रोल आउट कर रहे हैं कि अब हम सेल्स लेड नहीं चलेंगे, अब हम प्रोडक्ट लेड ग्रोथ को ही लेके चलेंगे. तो अब फिर अगेन पाकिस्तान में काफ़ी अच्छी ट्रैक्शन है. वी हैव 40+ B2B कस्टमर्स. सो अब हम जा रहे हैं कि
ऐसे की तरफ. Emaar is one of them.
Emaar is one of them, yes. So Emaar को हमने डेट रिकवरी से स्टार्ट किया था, only one module, and now they're asking for more.
Yeah.
So that's how we have been working till
And
now.
who's making these feature decisions? I know that there's a husband-wife duo
Yeah.
at Play,
So,
and your husband is leading product.
He's the CEO
He's the
as
CEO.
well as former CTO. हमने जो इनिशियल इंजीनियर्स हायर किए थे उन्हीं को इतना ज़्यादा ट्रेन कर दिया है कि वही प्रोडक्ट्स को रोल आउट करते हैं. आयज़ा नूर, शी इज़ आवर CTO नाउ. शी स्टार्टेड एज एन इंटर्न 3 years ago.
Oh, fantastic.
सो बट पूरा प्रोडक्ट उसके हाथ का लिखा हुआ है थ्रू जैन्स गाइडेंस. तो प्रोडक्ट की डिसीजन जैन ही ले रहे होते हैं कि हमें करना है कि नहीं करना है. फिर आयज़ा उसको रोल आउट करती है.
I wanted to take the conversation back to all of you one by one. What is it, we've spoken about being default alive or default dead, but these are all Silicon Valley terms. When we speak about Pakistan in particular and building a bootstrap company here with all of our barriers that we have, whether they're supply shocks, that's one, whether it's, having retention in terms of your employees, whether it's access to capital, even purchasing power in our market is very different. There's payment friction. So we have a very unique landscape, and you've all built successful companies in this landscape. What do you think has allowed you to do that? And what have you done differently? What are things that maybe founders in other markets wouldn't have done that you've done? And Umar, aap shuru kijega. And I know you spoke about inventory, but is there anything that you would like to highlight here?
I feel कि जो आपने ये बात की is, you know, in Pakistan is the most important thing, because here, you know, profitability doesn't होए ना होए, cash flow सबसे ज़रूरी है. You have to be cash flow positive.
Yeah.
And पाकिस्तान में तो यही होता, ट्रांसपोर्ट की स्ट्राइक हो गई है, 80-90% बिजनेस मेरा COD का है. कोरियर वाले ने मेरे पैसे मार लेने, उसने मुझे तो पैसे नहीं देने, उसने कहना जी मेरी बसें नहीं चले, मेरे ट्रक नहीं चले. तो दिस इज़ अ बिग चैलेंज, एंड आई फील कि पाकिस्तान में ये सबसे बड़ा चैलेंज है. बाकी अगर आप अमेरिका में ये बात करोगे जी ट्रांसपोर्ट की स्ट्राइक हो गई है, मेरे पैसे मुझे नहीं मिल रहे, तो वी हैव टू बी लाइक, फॉर मी गोइंग टू द रिटेल स्पेस इज़ अनदर रीज़न कि यार मैं ये अपनी डिपेंडेंसी कोरियर वालों से, अपने पैसे मेरे जो अपने पैसे मैं उनसे मांगता हूँ, लाइक you know TCS and Leopards and all,
Yeah.
they all do that. They all are like कि यार हमारा financial crunch है. तो ये बहुत बड़ी प्रॉब्लम है. तो so what we have done is you know we have like अपनी कैश फ्लो को इम्प्रूव करना है, तो उसके लिए हम लोग स्कीम्स लेके आ रहे हैं. So we have started giving a 10% flat discount on all prepaid sales. कार्ड से पे करो, 10% डिस्काउंट ले लो, जेब में पैसे आने चाहिए. So for us, I think every founder in Pakistan needs to, you know, अगर उसने जिंदा रहना, उसकी कैश फ्लो पॉजिटिव होएगा तो वो जिंदा रहेगा, वरना मर जाएगा, जितनी मर्जी प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी हो.
A lot of emphasis on cash flow. What about you, Maro?
I think for us, one part that has been really important over the years has been innovation. It's also a value that we hold, you know, ourselves very accountable to, because we operate in a market where mostly all of the competition that's operating in this market is just relying on infrastructure investment. आपके पास ज़्यादा पैसे हैं, आप बड़ा सा फिटनेस स्टूडियो खोल लें, and that's it. It's not really about service or trainers or, you know, the entire model. And we basically ended up benchmarking ourselves globally. So we go out and we try new fitness concepts, wellness concepts. Then we come back and connecting with Umar's point over here also, we connected it to cash flow, because, you know, like for example, we are launching this new wellness studio in Lahore, in Gulbarg in 2 months' time. And it has 5 new wellness concepts. And we actually had this idea around 15 months ago, but that's when we could not bring it to Pakistan because we did not have the cash flow. So we have been saving this money for the last 15 months.
Wow.
Then we looked at sourcing this from different vendors. Then we looked at execution, and then we looked at setting aside the money. So just the idea part for it has taken us 15 months. And now the studio execution part will take another 3 months. And then it's about training the team. But I think the reason that we want to do it is basically we want to stay so far ahead of the curve when it comes to innovation, is that, you know, people will end up thinking, oh, there's no competition when it comes to women's wellness in Pakistan.
So the differentiator here is quality.
Quality and innovation, yes.
To global standards.
Yes.
Fantastic. Sidra.
So हम पे तो काफ़ी इम्पैक्ट इस चीज़ का पड़ा, बिकॉज जो इनिशियल एक बिल्कुल ही जो कंज्यूमर है, जो एंड कंज्यूमर है, वो अगर रियल एस्टेट में इन्वेस्ट नहीं करेंगे, एंड रियल एस्टेट रियली वाज गोइंग थ्रू यू नो अ प्लेटो टू एन ईयर बैक. सो जब वही इन्वेस्ट नहीं कर रहे तो डेवलपर्स के पास पैसे नहीं आ रहे, जब डेवलपर्स के पास पैसे नहीं आ रहे तो वो फिर हमसे क्यों कोई सॉफ्टवेयर लेंगे. सो दिस इज़ एक्चुअली समथिंग विच हैज़ बीन हैपनिंग इन बहरिया टाउन स्पेसिफिकली, क्योंकि वहाँ पे काफ़ी जो कंडीशंस हैं, तो इट्स एन ओपन सीक्रेट, तो वहाँ से हमें नहीं आ रहा कोई भी लीड्स वहाँ से नहीं आ रही. सो येस, ये एक रहा है इशू पिछले साल तक, बट देन व्हेन थिंग्स स्टार्टेड गेटिंग बेटर इन द इकोनॉमिक पर्सपेक्टिव, तो ख़ुद ही जो है फिर हमारे पास डिमांड बढ़ गई. सो अब ऐसा होता है कि ख़ुद ही हमारे पास कॉल्स आ रही होती हैं कि हमने आपका ऐड देखा था फेसबुक पे, वी वांट टू सेट अप अ मीटिंग विद यू, और इंस्टाग्राम पे ऐड देखा था, या इस तरह से. अब तक ऐसा है दैट वी हैवंट येट हैड अ नीड टू हायर अ प्रॉपर सेल्समैन. फाउंडर्स ही अब तक सेल्स कर रहे हैं, विच इज़ नॉट एग्जैक्टली रियली क्या कहेंगे, स्केलेबल तो नहीं है. बट अगेन अब जब हम इस स्टेज पर आ गए हैं कि प्रोडक्ट मेच्योर है, रेवेन्यू आ रहा है तो अब हम इसको हायर करना मतलब शुरू करेंगे सेल्स पीपल को. सो ये हम पे इसका इम्पैक्ट हुआ था. बट अगेन व्हाट हेल्प्ड अस वाज द इकोसिस्टम इन विच वी वर अ पार्ट
Really,
ऑफ.
it's a notoriously difficult ecosystem to operate in.
द इकोसिस्टम, द एंटरप्रेन्योरियल इकोसिस्टम, जिसमें हमारे
Got
पास
it.
NICs हो गए,
जी.
हमारे पास स्टैंडर्ड चार्टर्ड हो गया जिन्होंने वुमेन इन टेक प्रोग्राम कराया था. सो वी गॉट अ ग्रांट फ्रॉम देयर. पे NIC से हमें सपोर्ट मिली है. वी गॉट इमार फ्रॉम NIC कराची. वहाँ से हमें
Fantastic.
एक इनडायरेक्ट रेफरेंस के बेस पे हमें इमार मिला था. फिर एक्सेलरेट प्रॉस्पेरिटी से हमें काफ़ी सपोर्ट मिली है. सो दीज आर द काइंड ऑफ ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस जिनकी वजह से हमारे लिए सर्वाइवल आसान रहा है. एंड अगेन इनिशियली Zain, क्योंकि he has worked for European banks and investment firms, he has built solutions for them, so काफ़ी ज़्यादा पैसे सेव किए हुए थे. So that buffer cash helped us survive in the early years जब revenue नहीं था. And since both husband and wife are in this thing, तो yes, that was really needed कि घर भी चलता रहे because we are working full time for Fortify. So yep.
Asma, Pakistan is a fragmented market, and you were speaking about how you have 40,000 doctors on the platform today. So how do you navigate this fragmented space, particularly around healthcare?
I think in terms of if I talk about the doctor's perspective, I think core idea is this, that when you are creating value and you have 40,000 doesn't happen in one day, so it happens on a gradual speed. But in the initial time when you create value, you have a proven word of mouth that then the customers or the doctors or their families, they are hearing about the product, that this can create value for them. Then it's a natural pull that
Yeah.
people are going to come and wish to onboard and then try to work with the platform. So that's how it is.
Fantastic. And just to close it off with you, Ibrahim, anything that you found difficult in the local landscape when building a product-led business here, particularly in your niche space? So men's self-care is something that's still new to Pakistan as a whole.
आई थिंक चैलेंजेस पे बात करें तो काफ़ी ज़्यादा थे. एज एन टारगेट ऑडियंस बात करें तो men don't spend लॉट ऑफ मनी ऑन देम सेल्व्स.
Yeah.
आदमी अगर पैसे लगाता भी है तो घड़ी गाड़ी इस तरह की चीज़ों पे लगा लेता है. अगर आप कंज्यूमर बिहेवियर देखें तो इफ़ अ गाय सॉर्ट ऑफ अर्न्स 50-60K अ मंथ, तो उसकी फैमिली में जो उसकी बीवी है वो शॉपिंग करती है महीने में एक दफ़ा, दे बाय थिंग्स, बट आदमी के पास अपने लिए पैसे नहीं रहते. फिर उसके बाद एक और चीज़ हमें बड़ी इंटरेस्टिंग समझ आई कि अच्छा, टॉयलेटरीज तो हर बंदा यूज़ कर रहा है, फेस वॉशेस, बॉडी वॉशेस, सोप्स, मगर है कि इधर परचेज़र कोई और है, कंज्यूमर कोई और है. सो आदमी जो है वो शादी से पहले उसकी माँ उसकी मोस्टली टॉयलेटरी लेके आती है, शादी हो जाती है तो उसकी बीवी लेके आ रही होती है. सो वो बड़ा इंटरेस्टिंग था हमारे लिए कि हमें समझ आई अच्छा, नाउ वी नीड टू सॉर्ट ऑफ टॉक टू द परचेज़र and sort of get them to buy things for the consumer. Good problem to have. हमें समझ आई कि अब हम इसलिए ऑफलाइन जा रहे हैं. एट द सेम टाइम हमने रियलाइज़ किया कि जो आदमी है वो सलोन के साथ सबसे ज़्यादा कंसिस्टेंट है. मिनिमम लोग महीने में एक दफ़ा जा रहे हैं, कुछ लोग 2 दफ़ा भी जा रहे हैं, 4 दफ़ा भी जा रहे हैं. सो अब हमने फिर क्या किया, हमने उसको सलोन्स बिल्ड करने शुरू कर दिए. तो अब हम वो उसको कर रहे हैं. फिर सप्लाई चेन साइड पे भी आई फील लाइक इट वाज अ बिग इशू. आई नेवर इमेजिन माई सेल्फ रनिंग shampoo business, face washes or sub. But I think all of these challenges were sort of opportunities for us. और हमने उसको लिया भी ऐसे ही है, which is why we've been able to do it this way.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, all of you, for your time today. I had a really interesting, some really interesting insights from all of you put together. I know that we ran out of time, so I won't do a very long closing remarks, but thank you for hearing all of these incredible businesses and their stories.
Thank you so much.